You can't think your way to peace. You have to feel your way there.
Live from the Never Too Late stage in sunny Sarasota, Florida, it's the Never Too Late Show! Tonight's guest proves it's never too late to reinvent yourself and do what you love. And now, helping women turn what now into watch this, here's your host, Teresa Rowena.
Today's guest is Laura Harvey. She spent years in the high-pressure world of national swim coaching, where everything was about precision, performance, and constant push. And now she guides women into the exact opposite space: stillness, softness, and coming back home to themselves. She's the founder of Beyond the Bend Yoga, and her transition from the pool deck to the meditation mat is the kind of pivot that makes you stop and think. So join me in welcoming Laura Harvey.
Thank you so much, Teresa. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to be here today.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you here. This is going to be such a fun conversation. Before we get into that, I like to go back to the beginning to see how this all started.
I grew up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm an only child. It was a pretty happy life. Definitely didn't have any needs that weren't filled. I definitely came up in a place where I needed to behave. I needed to make sure that I wasn't falling out of line. So I did become, in that sense, a people pleaser. I was really fortunate to be a competitive gymnast. I feel like that in many ways was such a positive piece of my life. I had a fantastic coach who ended up being more of my parent than my parents were in some ways because we spent so much time in the gym. Really incredible group of women or girls that I trained with all the way until I was 15 years old. That was really the focus of my life. I am now 5'9". And anyone who knows anything about gymnastics knows that is way too tall to be in gymnastics. So at 15, I made the decision to leave the sport. So when you're sheltered in that way and everything is about what you're doing in the gym, as I came out of that, I realized that there was a whole world out there of boys and parties. And so life expanded in a way that maybe wasn't as healthy during my teenage years.
What were the messages that you received as a child in terms of achievement and perfection or being the responsible one?
As a gymnast, I was pretty self-motivated. There was definitely that piece of performance. I never felt like it was pushed on me. I was, again, pretty hard worker and really enjoyed pushing myself. I think the parts where I might have felt like I had to be perfect was more at home. And I very early learned to keep inside the lines.
It's interesting also because you became a competitive swimmer.
The swimming came in the middle of the gymnastics because I broke my arm at one point. And so it was cross training to get myself back in shape and ended up really loving swimming and excelled at it quickly, I think, because I was already an athlete. It was a really wonderful experience, but I had to choose between the two. It was really difficult to be doing both sports. And in hindsight, I should have stuck with swimming because to be tall is incredible for a swimmer. But I gave up the swimming and ended up going back into gymnastics. But swimming has always been a big part of my life.
So, did you ever go into swimming after gymnastics in college or anything?
I did master swimming. So no, I never competed as an adult in swimming. It was just something I did to keep in shape and keep myself strong. The competitive swimming piece didn't come into my life really until my kids started swimming. I had my original career was I owned a yoga studio.
Oh, in the beginning.
In the beginning, that's where I started. It was where I should have been. And it felt wonderful. And it was a great part of my life. I excelled as a coach quickly. I went through all of my levels of coaching and ended up going from coaching little 7-year-olds to coaching at a national level fairly quickly. And through that, ended up giving up the yoga piece of my life for that period of time. So it was probably over 15 years that I was just continually growing as a competitive swim coach and continually losing my connection with myself in many ways.
So, what did success look like to you, Laura?
An individual who was growing as a person through the lessons they were learning through the sport. So if I saw a young girl who was gaining confidence in herself, regardless of what her performance was, because she had good friends around her, that she felt confident in her ability, that she learned how to work hard and see the rewards you get when you put that determination in, learning what persistence means, those kind of values. I saw that happening with my athletes. I felt like I was doing my job well. When I saw an athlete that was at the top of her game cheering on their friend who was just not as talented and wasn't going to get to that level, but was working every bit as hard. And they were connecting as friends, as allies in a world that's very competitive. When I saw that, I knew I was doing my job well.
Do you ever hear from any of them?
I do. I keep in touch with a lot of my athletes and mostly Facebook. It's wonderful to have Facebook. And I have athletes that are married and have kids now. And it's pretty wonderful to continue to follow their lives and just keep that connection with them for sure.
You had that awareness and you started making that shift, because I think a lot of our listeners and viewers will be able to relate to that. They're probably right there at that point of when life or their work is not fulfilling. It's not like what it used to be. And by all standards, other people would say a successful life. You're at the top of your game. You're doing great. Why would you ever walk away from this? Did you face that, or was there any difficulty for you at all in walking away from swim coaching?
I started trying some different things in order to see if I could stay in that sport, but maybe shift things so that it would be a little bit more centered around who I was. And in the end, I ended up becoming an assistant coach so that at least the political piece of it would be less. And that didn't work because then I wasn't in control of the club culture anymore, right? So then I had to find myself in a place where I didn't agree with that club culture. I didn't feel right about it. I tried playing with different things to make it feel more from my heart. And in the end, I just thought, I need to take a step back. As a woman and as a single mom, financial pieces were part of it too. So with coaching, I knew I had a regular paycheck. And so that made a difference too. When I left swim coaching, my kids are adults now. And so it allowed me a little bit more freedom to say, okay, I'm going to step out because I was going to have to start my own business. And I had done it before and I knew it was possible. So I jumped off and I took that chance and said, this is it. I'm doing this. And I haven't looked back and I haven't been happier. I don't know that I've ever been happier in my life. It was obvious right away that I had made the right choice.
Can you recall the moment in time, what happened whenever you felt yourself coming back to life? You felt like this is it?
I think it was about 5 minutes after I gave my resignation.
That's great.
It was that immediate, honestly. I didn't realize how much of an effect it was having on my spirit. I didn't understand. I think if I would have really got that, I might have tried to do it earlier. But as soon as I sent that email off, I just felt like, okay, I'm alive again. And this is my life now. This is who I am now. It took a little while to figure out the details of what my business was going to look like. And so that was a little bit stressful, but in comparison, I was alive again. So it was easy.
You were already in business once before as a yoga instructor, left it. Now you're coming back. So did it feel like coming home? Did you feel like, yeah, I know what I'm doing here? I'm just picking up the pieces. Or had things changed? Did you find yourself in a new world, or how was that?
I knew exactly where I needed to go, what I needed to do because I had been there before, but I was looking at it from a different lens now. I had spent all of those years learning life lessons and I was coming at it from a much kinder, more compassionate way. I had so much more wisdom going in. I could enjoy it a lot more than I did the first time because I was a new mom, really, the first time I did it. And now I'm free to explore and to really be fully present in the journey. that's something that hadn't happened before. So this time around, I knew all the logistics. It was just that I got to do it in a way that was so much more joyful and with so much more wisdom because I had grown so much.
I love that you say that because that's one of the things that I would really like to point for women is we don't always give ourselves credit for the wisdom that we have that comes through experience. Did you notice that whenever you would be coaching someone in the area of helping them to build their confidence, that you could see how it would reflect on your own life?
I've never really thought about that. Thank you for pointing it out. Yeah, there's definitely a piece of that for sure. I've always been a person, even through all of that, wanted to grow, regardless of where I was. So I suppose when I think about it, the fact that I was trying to explore those areas with athletes probably had an effect on who I was. I would agree with that. I think more so is all of those years when I was able to have those kind of relationships with my athletes. It comes through now with my students. And I'm the same age as those students, and I've gone through the same challenges through life. So I can connect with them in such an authentic way because I know their challenges, I know their battles.
What is your life like now, running beyond the bend yoga and helping women, their prime, reconnect with themselves?
Truthfully, it feels like I'm home. I feel like I have a purpose. When I finish a class with my students and I see that level of anxiety release and they find that stillness and calm and they understand that's possible, it is the most rewarding feeling in the world. And so I know I'm in the right place. Even more so than when I was teaching yoga in the past. I think because I can connect so fully with these women and I understand the challenges that they go through, it allows me to be fully compassionate because I understand.
It sounds like your definition of success has shifted a great
Oh
deal
yeah.
from what it was as a high performance world of swim coaching. So, how does that impact you, that sense of success that you're having now?
It brings peace to my life. It fills my heart. It brings purpose. It fills me completely. I'm excited to get up every morning. I'm excited to take on the next project. And I'm growing more than I ever have. And I feel that in order for me to be there for my students, my clients, I have to continue that growth. Not that it's a should, but I want to.
What
Yeah.
about the sacred longing that, because I feel like you probably experienced that earlier on before you shifted to, you left swim coaching. So, what about it now? Does it feel satiated?
It depends what you mean by sacred longing, though, because it's not something that I need, I'm longing for. I don't feel that way. I feel very at peace in this moment. There's no longing for anything more. I'm excited about what's coming next, and I know that it's going to be sacred, but it's not a longing like I'm striving to go anywhere.
And one other question I would ask you to give to our audience, and that is, as a woman who has gone through what you have gone through and where you have found yourself, and at that point of making that transition, because I think a lot of our listeners and viewers may be in that position of taking the leap.
If I met a woman who was considering quitting her corporate position and starting her own business, I would say it's going to be tough. Financially, you're going to have changes, there's going to be challenges, but you're never going to feel as joyful and real and authentic and in your own skin and bright and alive as you will if you take that leap. It's worth it. Every challenge that comes with it is worth it. Go for it. Take the leap.
You have been such a pleasure to have on the show. Thank you so much. We'll have to have you back sometime.
I would absolutely love that, Teresa. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks again. And remember, y'all, it's never too late.
Thanks for spending time with us on It's the Never Too Late Show. Like, subscribe, and share the spark, because reinvention's more fun with friends. Not sure what your spark is? Take the quiz at itsthenevertoolateshow.com. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and we'll catch you later. Later.